Let's make some eggplant parmesan. Welcome back to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show, where we make plant-based cooking easy. I'm Jill, and today we're back. Jeff and I have just come off of almost 2 weeks now of COVID, and boy, it was a doozy, but we are here to get the show out to you this week for some eggplant parmesan, and it is amazingly delicious. So we're going to start out. I already have my oven preheated to 400 degrees. And I've got 2 eggplants here, or this is actually 3 small, but you can use 2 medium-size eggplants. And you want to slice them pretty decent size, maybe just a little over a ½ inch thick. And we are going to dredge them in some soy milk. This is ½ a cup of soy milk. Just want to put that in, some type of little bowl that will fit your eggplants, laying flat. And then we're going to make a little bit of a mixture here for a breading. This is 1 cup of almond flour, 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and some cracked pepper. Just a little bit, not a whole lot. And then you're just going to stir it up a little bit. I'm just stirring it up with a fork here, just so that, it's mixed well before we start coating that onto our eggplant. And if you aren't gluten-free, by all means, you could put some panko crumbs instead of the almond flour. That is just fine too. But this really is a delicious gluten-free option. All right, so all you're going to do is dip your eggplants in your soy milk, and then dip it in the almond meal mixture, and then put it on a parchment-lined baking tray, just like I have here. And you're just going to keep going until you use all of your eggplant. And you want to make enough slices so that they are paired up. So you want to have an even number of eggplants. All right, so I'm going to finish dredging them and getting them onto my tray, and then we'll get them into the oven. All right, now that we're done layering these onto our pan, we're going to get them into the oven for 20 minutes on one side, then we're going to flip and bake them for 20 minutes on the other side. While we're waiting for that, I'd like to share some background on our show. The Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show is crowd-funded, which means these free weekly recipe videos, along with our entire catalog of free printable recipes on our website, plantbasedcookingshow.com, and our Plant-Based Cooking Made Easy cookbook series, are all made possible in part by the generous patronage of our supporting membership community. So if you love our recipes, I invite you to join us on our mission to make plant-based cooking easy, and follow the link in the description to become a supporting member today. There's no denying the plant-based diet is a nutrient powerhouse, but did you know there are a handful of hard-to-get nutrients even well-crafted diets are often lacking? The latest research suggests that complementing your diet with a few specific vitamins, minerals, and omega-3s will help boost your energy and keep you thriving for the long term. That's why my daily health routine includes Complement Essential. Complement Essential contains the 8 critical nutrients lacking from most plant-based diets in dosages optimized specifically for us. As a special discount for our viewers, just use code PLANTBASEDEASY at checkout to save 15% off of your order. Okay, now that our eggplant is baking, we're going to get on to our sauce. So I've got 3 cloves of garlic here that are minced that we're going to cook up just a little bit here. And instead of using oil, we're just going to use a little bit of water just so that it doesn't stick. Just to kind of cook a little bit of the raw out of it before we add our other sauce ingredients here. So I've got a teaspoon of oregano, a ½ teaspoon of basil, and a 1/4 of a teaspoon of thyme. And just stir those in. Oops, stir those in here with it. Okay. Doesn't really take that long to cook the garlic, and it's going to be cooking in the sauce, so it will be well cooked by the time it's ready to go. Then I have, let's see, 4 tablespoons of tomato paste.
So this is just a really simple tomato sauce, but it is really full of flavor, especially with that tomato paste. It really adds a depth of flavor. And then I have 1 can, 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. And then 1 tablespoon of a low sodium tamari. And if you don't have tamari, you could use a low sodium soy sauce or Bragg's liquid aminos. That works fine too. Now we're just going to let this cook for about between 20 to 30 minutes while our eggplants are cooking. And then I will show you how to make the delicious cheese that's going to go in between the layers. Okay, on to this delicious cheese. So this is my version of a vegan mozzarella cheese. So we've got 1 cup of cashews, 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of a white wine vinegar, but you could also use apple cider vinegar. I just like the flavor of the white wine vinegar. It's a little bit more neutral. And then 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. And that's going to really give it some really nice punchy flavor. And then 3/4 of a cup of water. Then we're just going to blend this up until those cashews are completely pulverized and it's really nice and silky. Okay, there we go. Nice and silky. And if you notice, right after you get done blending it, it looks a little bit liquidy, but as it sits, it thickens up. So we have time to wait. So while we're waiting for our eggplant and our sauce to finish up cooking, then we can come back and I'll show you how to assemble it. All right, now on to assembly. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take some of your sauce and put it in the bottom of your casserole dish. And I just have a medium-sized casserole dish. It really depends on the size of your eggplants to how big your casserole dish needs to be. All right, and this is just going to keep the eggplant from sticking to the bottom. All right, so we're going to start out. Put your first layer of eggplants down. Okay, let's see, is that right? 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll try to stick in 1 more in there. We'll stick that right in the center. All right. Then you're going to put just a little bit of the sauce on each one. So you're creating like these little mini, like, I don't know, little mini stacks, really. Eggplant stacks. All right. And then I always put just a little bit of fresh chopped basil. You want to save some for the top also, but I always put just a little bit in between each, just for a little extra flavor. And then you're going to take your sauce. You're just going to pour a little dollop of sauce, of the cheese sauce, right on top of those. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. It kind of just holds it together. You want to save enough so that you can do another layer on top. There we go. All right, and then you'll just top them with another eggplant. And just gently press down a little bit, just so they kind of stay together and the top eggplant doesn't slide off the bottom eggplant. Okay, there we go. And then you're just going to repeat the process. A little bit more sauce, a little bit more of the cheese sauce, and then we'll sprinkle the rest of that fresh basil on the top. And if you have sauce left, you can either just save that for another meal, for some fresh pasta, or you can kind of pour it down in between the eggplants. And it just makes it a little bit more saucy. Okay, and you're going to sprinkle that fresh basil kind of on the top. And if you want, you can save some of the basil also for when it comes out of the oven, so you can have a little bit of a fresh sprinkling on the top. Because as this bakes, it's going to turn that basil a little bit of a darker color. But if you want to keep it more fresh looking, nice and green, you can save it for when it comes out of the oven. So I've reduced the heat in my oven to 350 degrees, and this is going to go in for 30 minutes. All right, they are out of the oven. Come on in for a look. And they smell so delicious. So I'm gonna let these cool for a few minutes and then I'll meet you at the table for a taste. Okay, let's try a bite of this. It is so soft and creamy. You're gonna love it. Come on back next week for another great recipe.